guest today. And, we're all in Wisconsin. It's cold in the winters, it's hot in the summers. And this episode, I think, is going to be very fitting for those of you um, who are in old farmhouses, are on farms, because we need all the help we can get to stay warm in the winter. And we are joined by Jessica Mlsna, who is from Focus on Energy. And she's here to talk to us today about all things energy related and how we can be most efficient, because we all need to save a little money with our energy bills. So, hi, Jessica. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Amber. Thanks, Becca, for having me, both of you. And so I'm Jessica Mlsna. I am an energy advisor for Focus on Energy. Focus on Energy is Wisconsin's statewide energy efficiency incentive program, and renewable energy as well. That includes. So kind of what that means is we are funded through all of the participating utilities in the state of Wisconsin. So your investor-owned utilities. So those are going to be the big ones, like if you're on Excel Energy, Alliant Energy, We Energies, Wisconsin Public Service, and then most of the electric cooperatives and municipal utilities in the state participate as well. So if you are on one of those participating utilities, you're paying a little bit into that incentive kind of pool of money every month when you pay your bill, and you can get that money back by doing energy efficient projects throughout your home or business or farm.
I think that's awesome to do. I know we've taken advantage of some of the things, like we got like a new shower head. We got quite a few new LED lights and stuff like that. And it's nice because yes, you are paying into it, and like technically it's not free, but at the end of the day, it's something that you might not necessarily go out and buy on your own, because you just don't think about that kind of stuff. So how did you get involved with Focus on Energy? I mean, what did you go to school for? Is this kind of, how you thought you would be working with energy, or how does that all play out?
Yeah, that's a great question, because I do have an ag background. So I went to UW River Falls and got a bachelor's degree in animal science. And then I went on to Iowa State and got my master's, which I thought was going to be in like a nutrition field and do like more like livestock nutrition. And then I ended up switching to agricultural education, while I was in grad school. I kind of wanted to do like extension type of work, which I guess isn't far off from what we do, kind of a resource consulting, but definitely not thinking about like the energy field at all. I mean, I've always been interested in, the environment and things like that, but just this job just kind of like came up as a great opportunity. I had just moved back to Wisconsin not long before, and I learned a lot about energy efficiency. I've been doing this for 8 years now, as of last month. So, which is kind of crazy to think about.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations. So what is like a typical day in the life of an energy advisor? Before we got on here, you're kind of talking about how you went down to Becca's farm and met with her. So do you travel to farms often, or kind of what's a day-to-day look like for you?
Day to day really varies. Like today was a heavy office day for me. Meetings, do a lot of just, the emails, the phone calls, the typical office stuff. Usually just helping customers either qualify, like, does this light fixture qualify for my freestyle barn? Does this water heater qualify for an incentive? That sort of thing. And then also helping them get their paperwork completed and submitted. Our paperwork really isn't that bad. I promise we help you with it. We have 3 agriculture advisors throughout the state, and we're all very hands-on with our customers. We have a 2-page application for most projects, and then we just need a copy of your invoice or invoices if it's a larger project. So that's kind of, my probably the most common. I try to get out of the office at least a couple days a week. Whether that's seeing, farmers on site at their farm, and that could be doing post-install inspections. We do free energy assessments where we walk through and make recommendations. of how you can improve your, energy efficiency in your facility. And then also I visit we call them trade allies. That's kind of a utility term. But like your contractors, your dairy equipment dealers, grain equipment dealers, electricians, and so on, and help them with the different parts of the program.
So what's kind of the big deal about energy efficiency? Like, why should this be a priority for not only homeowners, but farmers as well?
I kind of look at it as, sustainability is kind of a buzzword in the past few years, and energy efficiency is kind of a piece of that, pie or sustainability puzzle, whatever you want to call it. It's definitely important. It might not always be the priority where sustainability is concerned, but it can definitely save you some dollars if you're looking at your facility and prioritizing, what you can improve to become more energy efficient. It costs you money to use energy. So, not only by focus on energy can you save money on your bills by installing more energy efficient equipment, but you can also get that money back by installing the energy efficient equipment to offset the cost.
Well, that's pretty neat. That's a pretty great incentive. Money back is always a good thing.
Yep. Or like Menards, the rebates.
Perfect Wisconsin analogy.
Now I'm
right
gonna
there.
have that little saying in my head the rest of the night. Do you think that it's kind of one of those things that's overlooked a lot? I mean, obviously farmers want to save money, even homeowners, but do you find like a lot of people when you go out and do those energy audits, they're just like, oh, wow, like I hadn't even thought of that.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely some things that come up. There's some of the obvious things that we call like the low-hanging fruit, so to speak. So the lighting's a big one, of course. It's pretty easy to go to Menards or Home Depot or Walmart and buy, LED light bulbs or LED, new light fixtures, just because that's kind of an obvious one. But then there might be some little things that they overlook, like just keeping your equipment, clean and in good condition and good working condition is a low cost or no cost thing you can do to save energy too.
So when you go to like a farm, what are kind of the other bigger things that you're looking for aside from the lighting and keeping things clean? Like, is there certain pieces of equipment or like old windows, anything like that you're kind of looking for immediately?
Yeah. So I'm going to use a dairy farm as an example. We're in Wisconsin, so sorry for anybody not in Wisconsin, but that's kind of, that's a really big part of our customer base. Milk cooling is a huge energy consumer on a dairy farm. So we're going to, suggest things like putting in a plate cooler to cool your milk. The milk has to cool down quite a bit before it enters or once it enters the bulk tank if you don't have a plate cooler. So getting it from like that cow's body temperature down to basically refrigerator temperature, that takes a lot of energy on your cooling equipment and compressors. So if you use a plate cooler, you can get it down to at least like well water temperature before it enters the bulk tank. And that really helps too during those hot summer months. And we also recommend, getting your cooling equipment serviced as well. We do have a little bit of an incentive on that. It saves you a expensive emergency service call on, when it's the hottest day of the year, maybe you're trying to get to a wedding, you're trying to get through chores, and that's usually the night that, a compressor quits working or something like that. So another thing, variable frequency drives on various equipment like fans, your pumps, anything with a motor could potentially be a candidate for that, just to kind of, you don't always have to use your motors at full power or full speed. So those help with that. Let's see, heating is a big one too, kind of the other end of the weather spectrum. Your boilers, maybe you have in-floor heat in like your milk house or your shop or something, different heat types of heating equipment, unit heaters, shop heaters, that sort of thing. So those are all probably the biggest ones. I feel like I'm probably missing some here, but Yeah, definitely the milking equipment, lighting fans. Fans are a big one in the summer too. The freestyle barns, those are a huge energy consumer as well, but very necessary to keep your cows happy and producing that delicious milk. And then like a grain farm, we can look at like grain dryers, for instance. There's certain types of grain dryers that are more efficient than others. And, sometimes it pays to upgrade, especially with the cost of like natural gas and propane going up lately. A lot of people are starting to look at that, especially this time of year when they're getting out of that drying season. They want to already be ordering those for the next season and getting them installed. And then irrigation is the other big one on a grain farm. Those irrigation pumps also take a lot of energy. Some of those are like 100 horsepower and way oversized for the field. So those are another big one that we look at too.
I've noticed quite a few farms just around here even that are installing solar panels. I guess I'm not too familiar with solar panels, but with like grain dryers and the irrigation, like things that are taking up a lot of power, do you think there's a place for the solar panels, or is it, I mean, obviously it could just be used as, some help towards the energy. But I guess how much energy are those solar panels like putting out? Are they able to kind of replace using electricity, or?
It really depends. And this is not my main expertise. I will say that I do not claim to be an expert on, renewable energy. Solar panels, you can make your, array, however as big as, you have space for it. And that's one big thing is you have to have the space for it, whether it's like a good south-facing roof on a shed or a building, or sometimes, you need to use up like a space in your field or something. Do you want to give up, acreage for crops, that sort of thing? It's really, evaluating your energy consumption and seeing, how big you need to make that kind of solar array. So it really depends on your needs. Sometimes you can offset something, maybe some of it, maybe just like whether it's one building's worth or a certain piece of equipment. But then some people try to get like their whole operation's worth of electricity out of those solar panels. So short answer, it really varies, just on your needs. But that's a great question.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about like how much power those grain jars are. I guess I haven't seen it on a grain farm, but like if you could use solar somehow, on the top of the bin or something to power that grain jar, I'm sure that would be huge.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do upgrade your equipment, we kind of talked about paperwork a little bit earlier. What is the process of going through that to send in to you guys that paperwork that says, hey, we did upgrade this to be a little bit more efficient? Could you kind of walk us through that process?
Yeah, sure. Ideally, if you talk to one of us before you purchase the equipment, that way we can make sure that it's going to qualify. But if you don't, that's fine too. You just might, get the, oh, sorry, that doesn't qualify. Reaching out to your energy advisor and working with us is one way to do that. And then we can help you get that, get that paperwork in to where it needs to go. You can submit it via mail, email, and then again, just directly through your energy advisor. So it's pretty simple. You want to make sure that you have all your invoices, all of your utility account numbers, so your electric account number for sure. And then also if it is like a natural gas related project or propane project, you'll have to have your provider and then your natural gas account number. Your tax ID is another big one that, people might not know off the top of their heads. And then, other than that, just working with like our catalog and our website and getting the correct codes for what you're doing for your project. I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely. And then correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you guys have a catalog where you can purchase these items as well. You can get light bulbs and all that other good stuff too, correct?
Yeah. And I'm not always great about talking about residential since I work in agriculture. But yes, if you go on our website, and then Becca alluded to like the farmhouse kit, residential kits, you can go on our website and you can purchase different products like light bulbs and things like that at a discounted price. It's called, I think it's still called like the online marketplace. And then we also have free kits. So if you are a customer of one of those participating utilities, you can request like, I don't know if it's one free kit a year or something like that, or every 2 years. And I've done it for our house before. And yeah, you get a few light bulbs, a shower head, and it kind of varies. There's some different ones to pick from depending on, what you're looking for. So definitely take advantage of that. It's just focusonenergy.com and then go to the residential tab, and I believe it's under there. So
Yeah, especially if you have an old farmhouse, I think you guys will really benefit from that.
And
yeah,
now that
sure.
we're kind of on the topic of homes, what are some things that, I mean, I know you work with mostly farms, but what are some things in the house that we should be looking at, besides the light bulbs and the more obvious stuff?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like your windows are a big one too. How well insulated your windows are, insulation. And I know at one time they did like what they call like a blower door test to see how well sealed your home actually is. I know, like that'd be kind of scary, but
Mine would not pass the
No,
test.
yeah,
mine would not either.
no. But they'll do like things like that too. So some of the things that you kind of overlook, like what we call a building envelope related measure, like insulation. I'm trying to think what else, like your water heater, how efficient that is, obviously your furnace and air conditioner and all of that good stuff too. But yeah, that's definitely one that probably you would miss otherwise.
As long as we're on the topic of terrible front doors, my front door is so bad. My last
You have a
winter,
blanket over it like me?
No.
No.
I should. Last winter when it was so cold, like there was ice on the inside of my door. And my dog, he just got a bath and he was laying next to the door because it's cold. And he's a Bernese mountain dog. And he got up and he was stuck to the door. Like he froze to the door because it was so
He's like, this is nice.
This is nice. I feel at home here. Back in his homeland. So I'm taking all the tips I can get from you because obviously we're not doing that on that front.
And we're not perfect at our house either. We live in an old house too. So as you can probably tell by my window back there. So yeah, you're not alone.
Good.
We're vintage, you guys. We're
vintage. Yes.
Yep.
Is there anything else that we're missing as far as the farm is concerned? Any other ways that we can save a little money as far as energy goes?
Trying to think here off the top of my head. It's covered lighting, fans, VFDs. I guess one kind of area that I missed as far as like different types of agriculture operations are like greenhouses, and now I think they're, oh gosh, what are we calling them now? Kind of more like controlled environment farming. I think that's the right something. Yeah, CEF, controlled environment farming, because sometimes it's not like your traditional greenhouse. It's, just a warehouse looking building, but it's, tempered to grow plants and that sort of thing.
Is it like 70 degrees and sunny? Because that might be my next job.
Right. Yes. I should be doing more greenhouse assessments, I think, right now.
Yes.
But yeah, those are something that we offer, that have some unique offerings. So like I'm working with a florist / greenhouse in one of the neighboring towns right now, and they're doing kind of like a new construction project where they rebuilt a new like retail shop, and then they're also building some new greenhouses. So they'll do things like grow lighting, and that's like a special kind of lighting, that you can and somebody, way smarter than me knows more about this, but all the different color spectrums that certain plants grow under and all of that. We do have offerings for that. We have some requirements that go along with it as far as efficiencies and things like that, but I've definitely, you kind of get a crash course in some of those things. And then like those thermal curtains that they're able to use to like kind of trap the heat where they want it above the plants, and climate controls are a big one. Like they have it where like their whole greenhouse, all the ventilation and climate control and everything is all automated. It's pretty cool to see all that technology in that area. So that's something I'm learning a lot about in the past couple of years.
And that's great too for just having a more local food supply. Obviously in Wisconsin, we've got this cold season where you can't really grow much, but if you can, do it in these greenhouses and these other, buildings where you can also be cost efficient at the same time while still, providing local food, I think that's really cool.
For sure.
And what's the best way to get a hold of you if your farm is looking to have someone out to kind of just do like a quick look around and give some tips and tricks?
So there's our website, focusonenergy.com, and we do have an energy advisor map on there. You can find your 3 ag advisors throughout the state. Otherwise, you can email me at jessica.melsna, MLSNA, I know it's weird, at focusonenergy.com. And then otherwise, we're also on Facebook, just Focus on Energy, and then Instagram, Focus on Energy _Wisco. So there's a lot of places you can find us. You can email me directly. Otherwise, we have an 800 number, which I do not know off the top of my head. Let me see if I can find that. But
okay. Yeah, and we can put that all in our show notes too for you guys. So it's just one click away. But thank you, Jessica, for being on here today. And before we let you go, we like to do some random rapid fire questions that we give no thought into prior this recording. So it's going to be very spontaneous. So I hope you are ready for these questions.
Probably not, but we'll give it our best try.
Becca, do you want to start?
I mean, we can start with probably the most important question. Mm-hmm. You're on a quick trip. You're grabbing some chocolate milk. What color cap are you grabbing?
This is the only one that I knew to prepare for ahead of time. Because I do listen to the podcast when I'm traveling for work. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and you guys are on my regular rotation. You're probably not gonna like my answer. So I am like that weird kid in school that would always go for white milk.
Oh,
because I always liked
that's acceptable.
Like, I don't know. I like chocolate milk, but I would rather have white milk with food. So I never was a huge chocolate milk drinker. However, if I had to choose between 2, I'd probably have to go green cap. Just
my girl.
I'm a more like 2% kind of girl. So I'm thinking I'd probably go green cap if I did choose chocolate milk. So sorry.
Speaking of the milk, did you guys see that the mint milk is back?
Yes.
Have you guys had it?
When I was pregnant, I made a mint Oreo milkshake with it, and it was pretty good.
I was impressed with it, actually. It wasn't like super minty, like it was drinkable, which is, but yeah, I just saw that was back, so I figured I'd put that little plug in there.
Nice little plug.
Yes.
All right, Amber, you can go next. I give up on my questions.
Okay. Well, all right. We'll see you later, Becca. Let's see. You are going to a tailgate. What protein are you going for? Are you going to go for a brat burger or a hot dog?
Ooh, that's a good question. It depends on my mood, honestly. I'm usually a burger kind of person, I think. Usually I go for a burger. But once in a while, a brat, but usually a burger.
Good answers.
You can't go wrong with that. I feel like I normally navigate or like go towards the brats only because we make burgers a lot more at home than we do brats.
Understandable.
So you gotta get something new.
Mhm.
Okay. If you had to move out of Wisconsin, and you could
Ooh.
live, I'd say in another state. You can live in another country too if you want. Where would it be?
That's a good question. So the only other state I've actually lived in is Iowa.
Oh, that's
I
unfortunate.
don't know if I'd pick that again. Sorry, people. I have friends
Sorry,
there that
people
I
from
still
Iowa.
love dearly, but I don't know if I'd go back there. I don't know. I don't really like it to be too hot, and I don't really like giant bugs.
That's valid.
Maybe, and then after saying that, now I'm gonna say an answer that completely contradicts that. I really like Texas, and there's so many different, like, it's so
So
huge,
many
and so
bugs.
many different parts. I know, like I said, that makes no sense now that came, but this is how my brain works, I guess. But I don't
It's
know.
warm in Texas, so I bet it's nice there right now.
Yeah.
It probably is. My husband has family down there, and I have like a friend down there, so that always kind of like sticks in my mind as someplace that maybe I could live if, I don't know, I'll just have to buy a lot of bug spray or something.
I still remember this actually still terrifies me. So Tara, New Mexico milkmaid, or I guess she changed it to her name now, but one day I don't know where she was. She like was at the airport. She was coming home and she has this story on her Instagram, and it's this tarantula just like scurrying across the parking lot. And she's like, you're back in New Mexico when? Like, this is a normal occurrence, apparently, in New Mexico. And I'm like, wow, I'm never going to New Mexico.
That's disgusting.
No.
I don't know if that happens other places, but like apparently tarantulas just roam free.
My soul would leave my body. I'd be like, no.
I would die. Can you imagine? Like, I almost crashed my truck if there's like a tiny little spider. Can you imagine if a tarantula got in your vehicle? It would be totaled.
I would just like tuck and roll. I don't even know what to do.
Going down the interstate, just no, open the door.
Just jump out.
Jesus, take the wheel.
Anyways.
Okay, well, let's change subject. So if you could have dinner with anybody, dead or alive, let's say you're 3 people, who would you want to have dinner with?
Oh gosh. This is like one of those questions I should like know the answers, because you hear it enough, but
or one person is fine.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if I can pick 3. Well, there's just like so many possibilities, I'm not good with like non-multiple choice answers. Sometimes I have too many options.
Okay, I'll give you a different question that might be a little bit more.
I can pick a category.
Yes.
I guess I've always been really interested in like reading like historical fiction, especially like the World War II. So probably like a Holocaust survivor would be like I think it's one of the top picks.
Interesting.
Not to make that like kind of dark, but I think, yeah.
That would be very interesting. I'd like that one too. I wouldn't like it, but I would be interested to hear.
I am back. I was trying to Google a good question to ask, but they're really just, I'm not getting good questions today, okay? Oh,
do you like Spider-Man? This is also a very important question.
The movie?
Yeah. Like, have you followed Spider-Man?
Not really.
I was going to ask you who your favorite Spider-Man was.
Oh, yeah, those, I don't know. That it's not really like those kind of movies. That's like my husband's like thing is, yeah.
That's fair.
I don't know.
Okay, I have a good one. This is serious.
Ooh.
Who came up with this? How do you think the world would be if bananas were illegal?
You'd have a lot of
like
monkeys
they still
in jail.
existed, but they were illegal.
Yeah, like bananas are now the crack cocaine of the world.
Well, my husband hates bananas, so he would probably be like really enforcing it in our house. I could probably live without them. I don't
think I
really
could too,
maybe people
actually.
would get more like leg cramps, like because they wouldn't, but then or maybe they would be just like smuggling them to, get their potassium. I don't know.
I feel like it'd be hard to smuggle bananas. Like they're not,
Yeah.
they're not little. It's
Well,
not just
and
like a brick of cocaine,
well, and I mean, I'm not up on my cocaine, but I feel like that's probably more shelf stable than bananas. Like if you were having to smuggle
I would
it
assume so.
somewhere. Because I mean, I put bananas on my counter and they're brown in like 3 days, I feel like.
And then you put them in the freezer so that you can make banana bread, but then they sit there for approximately 5 years.
I literally have brown bananas in my freezer right now.
You too. If you break the bananas apart, they don't brown as fast.
I did read that one, like actually recently, and I thought of it as they were sitting on my counter getting brown.
I don't think I've ever heard that before.
Or you wrap the tops in saran wrap.
That I do.
But then that's a pain. Yeah, then it's just a pain to rip them apart. I'm probably gonna have to edit out like a majority of that conversation because I don't want to get flagged for talking about cocaine.
Oh, come on. It was fine. I don't think we're not gonna get flagged. It's fine.
We got an explicit for a Focus on Energy podcast.
All right. Amber, why don't you ask one more question?
Okay, one that's not so controversial.
A question about I didn't think bananas would be so controversial. I'm sorry.
Fried or squeaky cheese curds?
That's pretty controversial.
Ooh. I think I have to go with fried. Being pregnant, I have really, I don't know, fried food has been like kind of my jam.
It's a good answer. I like
not
fried
healthy,
better
but
too. It's fine.
Whatever
the baby wants, baby gets.
Yeah, with ranch.
Oh, yes.
Good answer.
All right. Before we let you go, do you just want to remind everyone where we can find you guys, where we can get a hold of you?
Yes, you can find us at www.focusonenergy.com, Focus on Energy on Facebook, Focus on Energy _Wisco on Instagram. And you can also email me directly at jessica.mlsna, MLSNA at focusonenergy.com.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Jessica, for coming on here today and talking to us. Again, all that information will be linked down in the whatever it's called. Why can't I think of it? It'll be listed in the show notes for you guys. Thank you. And if you're not following us yet on Facebook, Instagram, you can follow Becca over at Becca Hilby. I'm over at Cranberry Chats, and our podcast page is Forward Farming Podcast, Facebook, Instagram, and hopefully more on YouTube. And if you haven't left us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, please feel free to do so. That really helps us out, and we always really appreciate reading those. So thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.